What's up, Ranger Nation? It's your boy JB, and I'm here this morning with the review for Power Rangers Beast Morphers. This is episode number 13. So, you guys, we're getting through the episodes. Oh, God, I know the Halloween episode is coming up soon because we're in October. So, that Halloween episode is right around the corner. But nonetheless, we are definitely, breezing through the rest of this season, which is I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. It's really good. I will say that much that I am enjoying it. But we got about 7 more episodes left, not including the 2 holiday episodes, which I don't know for a fact if I'm going to review the Halloween episode or the Christmas episode. It really depends on if they're not significant, if they're not just filler episodes, then I'll do it. But if they're filler episodes, you can kind of guarantee, I can guarantee you that I won't review them if they're not anything dealing with the story, dealing with, and the Christmas episode, I'm pretty positive I won't do because I get that they have to market to kids, but can they go and do like what Mighty Morphin used to do back in the day? Like, Mighty Morphin didn't do a Christmas episode every year. I mean, they did Alpha's Magical Christmas. They had I'm Dreaming of a White Ranger. And then that was it. And then they did have those Halloween episodes, but those Halloween episodes back in the day were fun. Like, I'm about to look through here and see what they were. Because, I mean, the Halloween episodes, you had the one with the pumpkin wrapper. And that was in season 1. Let's see. What episode? What box? What DVD is that on? Yeah, it doesn't really matter. But, we had the pumpkin wrapper episode. Trick or Treat, when Kimberly, is that it? Kimberly competes against Skull on a game show for a chance to win a brand new car while the pumpkin wrapper seeks to ambush the Rangers. Like, that was a good episode. And then, in the season 2 with Lord Zed, you had, it was the episode, I think the Halloween episode was, which one was it? Because I think it was the one that dealt with Tommy. When Tommy fought all those old monsters. And I'm trying to remember, that was with Rocky then, when they had came into this picture. What is it? Or was it Tom? Or was it, it wasn't Z-Ways. But either way it go, it was good nonetheless. Those were good nonetheless. And then even in Zeo, a season to remember, that episode I could have definitely dealt without. I didn't know that episode was not going to be that good. But even still, it was still a okay episode. But, you guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and just jump into the review of this week's episode, which was titled Tuba Triumph. So let's go ahead and just jump into it. Alright, you guys, so we see our heroes, they're at the park, and they're having a good time. So we see it is, Devin, Zoe, Steele, and Nate. They're playing some sort of sport. I really wasn't paying attention to what they were playing. I'm going to go back a little bit later and rewatch the episode, to get a better view of what they were doing. So then we also see Ravi. So Ravi is, in the park, he's drawing. And there's a kid there as well. And he's drawing this kid who's playing the tuba. And then some bullies come up to this kid. And, they tease him about playing the tuba. And I'm like, oh, so that's what we're doing? We teasing kids about playing the tuba these days? I don't hate social media. But I hate that, I hate that, bullying has gotten a lot different from when I was in school. Bullying and when I was in school was a lot different than what it is today. Because, kids say some of the meanest things to other kids. When I was in school, it wasn't really bullying per se. I mean, people did get bullied. But when I was in school, it was like, it was your mama jokes. It was, your mama jokes. Oh, you fat, just, what we called ranking, taking a dig. It was that kind of stuff. It wasn't this malicious stuff that kids do these days. So then the bullies, they take a soda and they pour it down his tuba. I'm like, oh my god! Like, do y'all not know how much a musical instrument costs? Like, that is a lot of money. That alone just set me off because I used to play the alto saxophone when I was in middle school. In middle school, I played the alto sax, and then when I got to high school, I still played it. Then I switched over to the clarinet. Like, I'm like, I wish somebody would have done that to me in school. Just poured something down my musical instrument. I would have been pissed off. Like, are you serious? But and then I was thinking to myself, I'm like, and then he threw it away, and I'm like, wow, why did he throw it away? Like, that didn't make a lot of sense. And I'm gonna tell you guys why it didn't make a lot of sense to me. Because being someone who's played a musical instrument, we blow into our instruments so much that at the bottom of them, excuse me, if you guys don't know, you blow into them a lot and spit. It just gets stuck. It just sits there until you actually clean it out. So all instruments come with a thing that you put in it, and it goes to the bottom, and you just pull it through, and it cleans it, and you'll do it repeatedly until you think that you got all the spit out of it. So that's why I was confused. I'm like, he just could have tipped it over, and then he could have just put his, his thing in there to clean it, his cleaning thing in there, and just dropped it in there and just slid it through a few times, and it would have cleaned it. But he threw the tuba away, and I'm just like, wow. And I really did feel bad for him because I'm like, even when like I said, I was in band from middle school into my senior year of high school. And that's really how people in my school knew me, because they be like, oh, my first name is Gerald. So they be like, when people say Gerald, they be like, oh, Gerald, yeah, I know him, he's in band. Because everybody knew me because I was in band. And, I just really did feel bad for him. I didn't get teased about that. Like, everybody loved, my high school band. You know, we were up, like, in most schools, the band geeks are the less popular crowd. But in my school, and it's because I went to a predominantly African American school. I mean, we have a splat. We were mixed. It's mostly African American. Then you have some Hispanic Americans, and then you have some Caucasians. Not a lot, but you have some. So at my school, we were right up there with the cheerleaders. Our step team, our what we call our brigadettes. The girls who come out on the field with the band and dance. So we were all neck and neck. So it wasn't like a popular clique. Like, we all were friends. We all knew each other. Even the football players. We all knew the football players. We were friends with them. So, I know you see in movies, but that's not how it was for me in high school. So I just really did feel bad that the kid was bullied because he was playing tuba. Like, the tuba is cool. I mean, that takes a lot of that. Now, the tuba takes a lot of air, whereas the saxophone and the clarinet, they take a lot of air as well. But you really gotta blow the tuba, like you really have to blow with the tuba. So I commend, and I have a lot of friends that play tuba, and I commend them because I could never do it at all. So then Robbie does have a conversation with him, and Robbie tells his name is Joey. He tells him he'll teach him karate. So then, like I said, Joey threw his tuba in a trash can. So then Roxy materializes, and she turns it into a Robotron, and his name is Tubatron. And then she gives him that little data chip that Scrozzle wants to get each of the Rangers special abilities. She puts it on him, and the only one that they have left that they need is Devin's. They got Robbie's and they have Zoe's. They just need Devin's at this point. So then, Roxy and Robotron, not Robotron, why did I say Robotron? Tubatron, they fight with the Rangers for a little bit, and then they get beat and they retreat. Now that is my problem with. I love Roxy, and shout out to Liana Ramirez. She's a phenomenal actress with this role. Like, she does so well with this role. When I look at Liana Ramirez playing Roxy, I get like some Tanaya 7 vibe from her. I get Tanaya 7, and I get a little bit of Trakina, and I get a little bit of Astronomer. So, shout out to her for that one. Like, she's doing the thing. So yeah, then they go back to the cyber dimension. And once they get into the cyber dimension, Scrozo tells Roxy, like, hey, you know what? I think I can make a few modifications to him, and that'll amp up his volume just a little bit more. You know what? And that reminds me, like that episode of Power Rangers Lost Galaxy when Trakina sent Jbsayzwhat to Terra Avenger to, she had those sounds, those woofers on her, and that guy, what's his name, Braxton, I think that was his name. And I watch Lost Galaxy all the time, and I forget this. When I come on camera, I forget stuff that I watched for years. But the guy stole Damon's idea and pretended like it was his. That reminded me of that just a little bit. So then we see at Grid Battle Force, Nate, he's reprogrammed the Gigadrone detectors so that way anytime that Tubatron comes to Earth and he plays his sound, that they'll hear it and they'll instantaneously know where Tubatron is. So that way they can go right there to him and, kind of fight him, beat him up, rough him up just a little bit. All right, so then at the Riptide Gym, we see Ravi. So Ravi is teaching Joey some karate. And it's very, very reminiscent of Mighty Morphin Power Ranger days when, anytime a young kid will come in and they were getting bullied by somebody, they were either, Jason or Tommy would teach them karate. Like, I'm about to look at some of these episodes. Like I got the book from the box set. I still have the box set. I need to buy Power Rangers Super. I really don't want to buy a Super Ninja still on DVD, but I need to buy it on DVD so that way it can complete my collection. And then I also need to buy the Blu-ray versions of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie and Turbo Power Rangers movie. And although I don't like Turbo Power Rangers movie, I need to buy it. I kind of want to buy that Steelbook as well, but there's no purpose in me buying the Steelbook because the only DVD of mine that it skips is season 2, volume 2, when we did the power transfer, and I don't know why it skips because I don't really watch that season a lot. But back to what I was saying. So like he's teaching him some karate moves, and it's just like I said, it's just very reminiscent of some early episodes of Power Rangers. Like I remember that episode where Jason and Tommy were teaching that kid how to when he was being teased about playing football and they took over. It also reminded me of that episode where Zach had that young kid and he was teaching him hip hop keto. I actually hate that episode because that little boy, Zach showed him that move and he thought he did a good job with it, but it wasn't what Zach did. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stop being. Even as a kid, I didn't like that scene. I'm like, but he just taught him to move, and he didn't. The kid to me didn't have a lot of. I think what it is for me that the kid just didn't have rhythm. That kind of bothered me. So yeah, it reminded me of that episode. What other episode does it remind me of? It also reminds me of some of those early episodes with Billy, when Billy was still a computer geek, and he had some kids come in and he helped them out, but he wasn't a fighter, but he was good with technology, so he could use technology to manipulate things. Let's see what episodes. I'm really trying to think about this. Yeah, it doesn't really matter to be quite honest with you, but oh yeah, like something fishy. Uh, Two heads are better than one was a women's self-defense class? I forgot about that. I forgot all about that. But yeah, I'm sorry to get off on a tangent, but yeah, just reminded me of some of those episodes from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Now, what really reminded me of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is a move that Ravi was trying to teach to Joey. He was trying to teach him the spinning tornado kick. And if you guys don't know what the spinning tornado kick is, go look at season 1 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Day of the Dumpster. You'll see Jason do the tornado kick. Tornado kick. Doom, 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 doom. If you guys go check that out. If you guys are like new to Power Rangers, I don't think anybody who's on my channel who watches Power Rangers, watch these videos, are new to Power Rangers. I feel like you guys have been around since the beginning, and if you guys know the tornado kick, you know that Jason tried to teach, tried to give, when Bulk was like, this is too easy. He's like, okay, then you're ready for some more advanced training. Tornado kick. Doom, 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 doom. And then Bulk tried to do it. And he flipped, boom, and landed on the floor. And Squall go, class dismissed. Oh man, I just, that was my childhood. Like, oh my God, man, I love me some Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, man. I love all Power Rangers, but, Mighty Morphin is beginning for me. It's not my favorite, you guys. If you guys want to know what my favorite is, there is a video, and it's in a playlist with my Power Rangers of all my favorite, Ranger seasons. But, like I said, it's near and dear to my heart because I started watching it when I was a kid, and I have not stopped watching Power Rangers over this 26-year period. Not once have I missed a season. Even if I don't necessarily 100% enjoy the season, I have not missed a season. So let's get back to the show. Where were we at? So he was teaching, Ravi was teaching him the tornado kick, but he wasn't getting it. So then, they take a quick break. And then, Ravi asked Joey, like, what makes him happy? And Joey says it was his tuba. But now he's, kind of regretting the fact that he threw his tuba away. And, he thinks he shouldn't have done that. And then Ravi just gave him some helpful, I love what Ravi told him. What did he tell him in that? Okay, so it's not, he was just trying to, encourage him. But we're going to get into what Ravi said in just a little bit. Alright, so then we have Turbotron in the Cyber Dimension. So Scrozzle has given him his modifications, and they need someone to test it on. And in walks Blaze, and Blaze is like, no, don't try it on me. They were like, but it won't hurt a lot. It won't hurt much, but it might hurt a lot. So, Turbotron blasts, Blaze and blows him back, and they're like, good. So he and Roxy leave. So then in Grid Battle Force, we see that Ravi, he is polishing his grandfather's tuba. Oh, that's what he told him. He told him that his grandfather used to play tuba. So, Commander Shaw comes in, and also Ben and Betty came in, and they took a trumpet and a tenor saxophone. So, they were playing with it, and that gunk, I'm like, what? It's a kid's show. Leave. Sometimes when it comes to the show, I have to leave my adult mind out of it because I'm like, there is no way that you guys could really put all of that into a trumpet or a saxophone. But adult mind, go away. So Commander Shaw comes in, and she's questioning him. She's like, I know you're not doing that. She says, is that my dad's tuba? He says, yeah, this is Grandpa's tuba. And she says, well, I know you're not going to do it. I know you're not about to try to play it, are you? He says, no. He says, this is for a friend. And she says, good. She's like, because, what did she say? They can't afford any silly distractions. And I was like, wow. So Commander Shaw is considering, playing a musical instrument, anything that gives these people enjoyment. She considers that a silly distraction. Like, I was kind of taken aback by that. Because I get it. They are there to save the world, but, it's kind of like in Power Rangers Samurai, when, what did they call him? When Sensei, is that what they called him? You guys, I have not watched Samurai in so long, so I don't remember what they called. Mentor G. That's what they called him. When Mentor G told them to take a day off, even in, who else told her? I think Zordon told the Rangers at one point, take a day off. No. Who else? What other season? Yeah, I think Zordon told the Rangers to take a day off. I know Lightspeed Rescue Captain Mitchell told the Rangers to take a day off, but they didn't get to take a day off. But I think, they're saving the world. They have to have some kind of a release. Like, I'm pretty sure that can be mind-boggling, that the fate of the world rests on their shoulders. So she said silly distraction. I think they need some kind of distraction, not to distract them enough to not want, to save the world, but distract them enough to not have that, have that burden all on their shoulders. So, I mean, I get what Commander Shaw was saying, but I don't at the same time. So yeah, I mean, if you guys understand where I'm coming from, please let me know in the comment section below. So then we see Ravi and Joey. So they're still training, and then they take a break. So then, Joey sees some of Ravi's drawings. He sees him, and most of his drawings are of him and Roxy. He's like, oh, this is good. And, he's like, well, I'm not at the point where I'm ready for people to see my work. And, he said, and then he calls it a great distraction. And exactly, it's a distraction. I'm not saying get distracted enough to not save the world, but have a bit of a distraction so that way they can just unwind, let loose, let their hair down. And, then, Robbie presents Joey with his grandfather's tuba. And Robbie tells him basically he needs to stand up for himself and what he believes in and not 100% worry about what other people say about what he does, for his own personal enjoyment. And I'm like, that is a good message. Not even just for Joey, just for kids or anybody, kids, adults, anyone in general. Don't worry about what other people say or think about you. Do what makes you happy, and also stand up for yourself and stand up for what is right. I definitely 100% love that message. As I love that message. So then we see Joey, he's in the park and he's playing his tuba. So at Grim Battle Force, you guys remember, Nate, he made some modifications to the Gigadrone detector, and it actually detected him playing his instrument. So they go to where, Joey is, and they're like, oh, it's just Joey playing his instrument. And then Tubatron, boom, blows him away. So they morph, they fight with, Roxy and Tubatron. So then, when they are fighting with him, Devin uses his cheetah abilities, and the chip got it. Now, they did blast, Tubatron turned his back to them, and pow, they blasted it, and it fell off. So Roxy grabs it, and she leaves to go to the cyber dimension. She hands it to Skrull, and Skrull's like, this has been blasted. I can't use this, so you're going to have to try it again. I'm like, ooh, Skrull was not happy. I love Skrull. Skrull is my guy. So let's just keep moving, you guys. All right, and then we see Skrull. So Skrull sends the Gigadrone to Earth, and then we see Nate and Steel. They're with Joey. So Nate wants to record, Joey's tuba, his instrument. So then we see the other Rangers. They are fighting with Tubatron, and they defeat Tubatron, and then they get in the Zord. They go to where Tubatron, the Gigazord is, the Gigadrone is. They battle with the Gigadrone, and Nate has the sound of the tuba. I think it was in Robbie's Zord, so they used it much like what they did with when Joey saved them earlier in the episode. So they used that, and then they end up defeating the Gigadrone. So then we see, lastly, Joey, he's telling, the Rangers about Nate and Steel. And then we see Ben and Betty come into the Riptide Gym. So the little bully that was bullying Joey, he comes in and he wants to bully Ben and Betty. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, like, so this is a kid, and he's bullying two, I'm going to assume that they're teenagers, like about 17 or 18 years old. And this kid looks like he's no more than 11 or 12, but he wants to bully Ben and Betty. I would have looked at him like, who are you talking to? Because you're not talking to me. But, Joey steps in and he defends Ben and Betty, and he does his tornado kick, and he kicks the kid's hat off, and that was pretty much it. And then he goes up to Ravi. He has a gift for Ravi, and it is a framed picture. It's his framed artwork of him and Roxy. And basically, Joey tells Ravi the same thing that he told him earlier, to stand up for himself and what he believes in, and don't worry about what others think. And you guys, that was the episode. It was a great episode to me. I did enjoy the episode because I love the message behind the episode. So overall, I think I would give this episode a I'm gonna say a 9 out of 10 because there was some room for improvement. But overall, it was an amazing, amazing episode, you guys. So let me know what you guys think about the episode. Be sure to like the video, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification button, and also share the video. And I will see you guys later.